So a couple weeks ago I uploaded a video of my experience playing through Sonic R with a steering wheel and pedals. And if you have seen that video, you might remember me saying that my PC was very old and very sad. Well, I have a new one, and it is very new, as new PCs tend to be. So the stream is really good now. It's very fast and it never drops any frames, and it's awesome. The challenge I picked for this video is speedrunning through Team Rose and Sonic Heroes with a Guitar Hero controller. Team Rose is probably my favorite category I've learned in Sonic Heroes, and it's also the shortest one, so it's pretty much built for a challenge like this. And I had actually done Team Rose with a Guitar Hero controller 2 years ago as a race against my good friend JoeyFreefall. I've also ran a couple of Ocarina of Time categories with the Guitar Hero controller, those being Dank% and KFC%. Look them up on speedrun.com if the names sound funny to you, because they are super entertaining and worth the watch. Now before we get too far, I'll show you how I mapped out all my controls on this thing. First off, I set the strum bar to up and down on the analog stick. Green is A and red is B, so it pretty much just feels like menuing through Guitar Hero at this point. I set yellow as left and blue as right, giving me pretty much WASD range of motion. It's just 8 angles and nothing in between. Now Sonic Heroes in particular is a game where you need to switch characters a lot using X and Y, so I needed to be able to reach those no matter what I was doing. I decided it would be a good idea to put X on my whammy bar and Y on my last available neck button, which was the orange one. I put pause on the start button and I put Team Blast on the fucking motion controls. Guitar Hero has a mechanic called Star Power, where if you shake around the guitar, I guess like how rock stars do, you get 2 times points for a short amount of time. Sonic Heroes has Team Blast, which kills all the enemies on screen and gives you some buffs too. I thought they were similar enough so I could put them on the same action. This ended up being such an awful idea. I would move the guitar a little too high or maybe a little too much, and then I would Team Blast by accident. And then I wouldn't have the Team Blast ready for where I really needed it in the levels. Needless to say, you'll see that quite a bit throughout this video, but with all that out of the way, let's get right into it. My first attempt of the day really humbled me, and I say attempt because it only lasted a minute and a half and then I reset. I gaslit myself into thinking that I could change some controls around and instantly start playing like this. Obviously it didn't help at all, so I put them back to how they were originally, and I decided to go and just do a full no reset run. Seagate is the first stage that Team Rose has to play. It's a tutorial level that no other team is forced to play, where you need to do a couple platforming or combat challenges and mash through all the text as fast as you can. And I'm not just mashing through the text because it's faster, but because I don't want to listen to Omo Chow at all. When played really well, this stage is actually kinda sick. It showcases a huge variety of the movement and techniques you'll be seeing throughout the entire run, but I am playing this game on a Guitar Hero controller. And the worst part was, I couldn't even do the trick that I discovered and named after myself, the Mikey Hop. Needless to say, my dreams were crushed in this very instant. But I knew, if I kept going, I would get used to the awkward controls and I would start playing better. I had a really clean section in the next level and even got the Grand Metro bridge skip on my first try. Things were looking good. I did the Team Sonic battle, I got the Casino Park skip, which I was really not expecting to be able to do. Look at my face here, I am not expecting to make this at all. Oh my god, let's go, dude! Feeling as confident as I could possibly be, I went into Bingo Highway fully expecting to just be able to do the hardest door clip in the stage. I focused up, I stood in place for literally 6 seconds, and then I instantly failed. It was pretty funny. This was also one of those stages that I accidentally Team Blasted on, so at this point I just had to kill every enemy one by one to open the door. It's no big deal though, we didn't die. I immediately die in the first 10 seconds of Rail Canyon and in the first 20 seconds of Bullet Station. At this point, it's safe to say that the difficulty of these stages is ramping up slightly, and even though Rose is the easiest team in terms of difficulty, I was starting to struggle a bit. Things started looking even worse when I died a full minute into Frog Forest without having touched a single checkpoint. After dying a bit later into the stage, I realized I only have 2 lives left, and we're just barely halfway through the run. And in the next stage, I spent over 40 seconds attempting a skip called Bonus Climb that only saves 3 seconds if you do it well. And I didn't even make it, so I died over a minute into the stage. I end up playing it super safe, finishing Lost Jungle, and heading towards the final stretch of levels. After a super quick fight with Team Chaotix in the forest, it was time to do one of the harder strats that I would recommend every beginner Sonic Heroes runner to try to learn. This is the Hang Castle door clip. All you need to do is fully rocket excel into the door and switch to your flight character right before you touch the door. It pushes their body into the door and the rest of the characters follow through. The inputs are not difficult at all. It's mostly a timing based trick, so I thought I could do it pretty easily with the Guitar Hero controller. I did end up getting it, but only after a full minute of trying it over and over. Oh well, at least the hard part of the stage is over.
Right? Wrong!
I jump down to the next area of the stage and I can't see a damn thing. I forgot that I could free the camera by hitting one of the camera buttons, so this is what the automatic camera thinks I should be looking at here. On the next try, I changed my camera angle on the way down and it's totally fine. Shoutouts to my friend Vintage McNugget, by the way, for finding this cool strat in Mystic Mansion. He calls it the Vintage Umbrella Snipe and it's pretty sick. The run was then blessed by a glitch the community likes to call the funny frame. If you press the B button on one specific frame during this cutscene, the characters go all janky, and I guess it's kinda funny. You okay there, Big? Robot Storm as a stage isn't too crazy, it's just one of those stages where you fight a bunch of robots in waves. It does start out with something pretty cool called Team Blast Glitch, where if you attack and switch off of flight on the same frame, it fills a ton of your meter. So we just spam this, and if you're really fast at it, you could even kill this first wave in under 10 seconds. And up next is probably the most special stage in the entire run. Not that kind of special stage. Egg Fleet has one of the most interesting skips in the entire game. For some reason, the developers left out a little area in the sky that when you touch it, warps you to the final ship of the level. It's not something you could ever reach by playing through the game casually, but with some crazy movement, we can get there and it skips an entire auto-scroller section. It looks pretty crazy, I know, but I would say that it's really easy and beginners should even try to learn this. I asked the newest Team Rose runner that I could think of, KeidaKennedy, what she thought of the skip, and she said it looks a lot scarier than it is, but she ended up getting it completely consistently in under an hour. And I'm only talking about how easy I think this trick is because I end up failing it for over 2 minutes here before giving up and doing the intended route. I felt pretty defeated after that one. That was definitely the most time lost in a single stage so far. I load into the final level with 2 lives, I die 2 times, and then again to game over in the very final section of the level. I'm just dying with no lives, fuck. Losing an entire stage worth of time at the very end feels way worse than failing Egg Fleet Warp for 2 minutes. Oh well, I load right back in and I finished the final stage and the final boss and the run is over. After waiting for the credits, I checked the file time and it's a 1:02:10. And just like my last video, I go right back into a second run without any practice or anything. I think we just run it back. And with that absolute shit show of a first run behind us, you would assume I could just load back in, do another run, and crush that time immediately. Well, yeah, I kinda do. I just played through the hardest stages in the game. Coming right back and doing the first ones again were really easy. I feel like I was getting a pretty good grasp of these controls. Oops, I died to the first boss. Yep, pretty big accomplishment there for me. Great going, Mike. Well, whatever. That was a 30-second time loss, and I was already ahead by a minute and a half, so we have a lot of room to work with. I even saved another 6 seconds on the next level. Uh-oh, I died over a minute into Power Plant. The unluckiest Rocket Excel of all time. I only lost 30 seconds though since the last run was so bad, so I'm still in the green for now. The Team Sonic fight actually gave me some trouble here, and so did Casino Park. If I wanted to keep my lead, I'm gonna have to play pretty cleanly. Actually though, Rail Canyon and Bullet Station were the levels I started taking some really bad deaths in, so just by playing normally, I saved a lot of time in both of them. Also, the last run had really bad deaths in Frog Forest and Lost Jungle, so as long as I'm not fucking around with Boner Climb for 2 minutes, we're fine. I also clipped through the door in Hang Castle in 30 seconds instead of a minute, so that's a pretty good time save, right?
Right? Wrong!
I could see where I was going and I hit the switch, but then I missed the ramp on the way down, and I had to fall for 24 seconds before dying. I was like, damn, I guess this is gonna be the first major time loss of the run. I still saved 40 seconds on the stage. I don't know how I saved 40 seconds, but I still saved 40 seconds. On to Mystic Mansion. But first, look at this graph. We are saving time in every stage. Nothing can stop us. This run is perfect. No, I missed it. Oh, I fucking got it! I kid you not, my stubborn ass failed the Egg Fleet Warp again for 5 minutes. Really? I failed it for 2 minutes, went on the intended route, and then I died on the intended route, so I kept going for the warp for 3 more minutes. It was a full minute time loss, and even though I knew I was still gonna beat my last time, it did really sting to know just how much time I could save if I got it on the first try. Going into the final level, I knew as long as I didn't game over or die a lot, I would save a lot of time. So I just played through normally and I saved 3.5 minutes. I finished up the final boss, and there we go, an 8-minute improvement over the last run. Man, oh man. After waiting through the credits again, I checked the file time and it's 54:36 in-game time. Solidly sub-hour, but there's one thing that I'm looking at here. My real time on my timer is 1 hour and 15 seconds. Only 15 seconds for sub-hour real time? There's no way I could end the stream there. I tell the chat we're going back in for one more run for sub-hour RTA. But there's one thing I want to change first. I'm sick and tired of team blasting by accident. I'm mapping that shit to a real button and we're doing more runs. Now I've been speedrunning for about 3 years now and this always happens to me. By the time I'm doing my 3rd or 4th run, I'm running against a time that has a really clean beginning. It's really hard to run against something like that since I'm always losing time in my first couple splits. It's hard starting every run behind, so if I was taking some bad time losses or even some deaths, I was resetting a lot here. For the next hour, I was stuck resetting in the first couple levels over and over and over again. I start up my final run of the night telling myself that I don't know if I can even do it. What if I make it all the way to Egg Fleet and fail the warp for another 5 minutes? What if I game over in Final Fortress and lose 3 minutes? These were all the things that I was thinking about, but I knew that it wouldn't matter if I couldn't even make it there in the first place. So after taking a bad death in Ocean Palace, dude, was there a checkpoint? Please tell me there was a checkpoint. I decided to just keep going. I just tried to keep reminding myself how much time save I have throughout the rest of the run, and by the time I reached Casino Park, I was in the green. This could be the run. All I need to do is keep playing like this. I don't know, guys. This is a minute of time save. I can do Egg Fleet warpless. I don't know if I want to do it, man. Here we are, back at the Egg Fleet warp. It all comes down to this. It felt like this one trick was the bane of my existence for the entire day. And I'll say it again, I do think that this trick is beginner friendly, but for what I'm working with, it's really awkward and my years of muscle memory from a real controller are really going against me here. I jump to the lower area of the ship and immediately fuck up my inputs. This could be the start of another 6-minute time loss attempting this trick. I kept going though and flung myself off the side into the direction of the invisible warp trigger. Oh my god, guys, holy shit. I actually made it on my first try this time. This saved me almost 5 minutes and put my lead at 7 minutes and 14 seconds. I make my way through Final Fortress, staring down that final rail I game overed to in the first run, and I missed it again. Yep, I'm pretty good at this game, I would say. It was only a 20-second time loss, but it's pretty funny to think that I died to the same thing in the first and the last run. And after beating Egg Emperor with a seriously decent time, the run was over. I fully completed Team Rose in under an hour real time, clocking in with a 47:37 on the in-game timer. I felt extremely accomplished here. This challenge had completely broken my spirit for a solid hour before I got that final run going. I'm pretty satisfied with this time for now. So yeah, that's Team Rose played only with a Guitar Hero controller. Thanks to everyone who watched that stream live, and thanks to you for watching this all the way. I'm very impressed with you. You did amazing. Thank you. I'm also down to do more weird controller challenges, so if anyone has any ideas for anything, let me know. I'll probably do it. But yeah, I guess that's it for this one. See ya.